blink.
In the news tonight.
That's why I am insisting on science and technology.
President Museveni asks Makerere University to emphasize research and innovation as Uganda's oldest and most prestigious institution marks 100 years of existence.
Our people are desperate for health services.
Robina Nabanja wants hospital managers to explain the breakdown of diagnostic equipment, which leaves patients at the mercy of expensive private hospitals.
People can trade. Our commerce is better.
Also tonight, KCCA together with callers signed £250 million deal to rehabilitate city roads. And in sports, Uganda Cubs, the under-17 national team, have maintained their perfect start to book a semi-final berth at the Sekafa Zono AFCON qualifiers. A very good evening to you. Thank you for tuning into CTV. This is CTV's PM edition. My name is Bernadette Apio. On sign language is Isaac Luchamazi. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. In our top story tonight, Makerere University, Uganda's oldest university, has today marked 100 years of existence. Since opening its doors in 1922, the university has become one of the prestigious universities in Africa. President Museveni was the chief guest at the event that attracted dozens of dignitaries. We have more.
Makerere University's alumni include presidents and prime ministers mainly from the African continent. These include Julius Nyerere and Benjamin Mkapa, the former presidents of Tanzania, Joseph Kabila, the ex-president of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Others are ex-Kenyan President Mwai Kibaki. President Museveni, the special guest at the celebrations, said it's worth celebrating the achievements, but the most important thing is to learn from our history, especially why Europeans colonized the Africans.
So therefore, this Makerere, this 1922, is a phenomenon at a certain historical point as a consequence of what had gone on in our society before. The question is, how were the African societies organized before colonialism? How were they organized? They should be studied thoroughly by the social science. I am one of the people who refused to come to Makerere. I refused. I said I would not go to Makerere. When we were making choices, all my 3 choices were put to the University of Dar es Salaam. Choice number 1, Dar es Salaam. Choice number 2, Dar es Salaam. Choice number 3, Dar es Salaam. Why? Because I wanted to be near Nyerere.
He says institutions have to put emphasis on sciences because it's a vehicle towards social change. He appreciated the science and technology faculties at Makerere University and asked its leadership to put more emphasis in research and innovation.
So science, we moved a bit. We are now going to move more decisively. And I would like to convince all of you that really science is the primer of all social change. If you don't deal with science, you may not even exist.
Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, the Vice Chancellor, said that the university is working towards expanding its research department to accommodate members of the public who are interested in research and innovation.
The allocation by government of 30 billion Uganda shillings annually for research has transformed Makerere tremendously. Even if this is not enough to support the 1,000 researchers we have at Makerere, it is a good beginning, and the country will surely reap dividends very soon.
Professor Isla Suruma, the Chancellor, however, challenged Makerere lecturers to mind about the quality and ethical base of content they deliver to students.
Allow me to challenge Makerere University and all other education institutions in Uganda to also put greater emphasis on the ethical content of education. The character of our graduates is no less important than their technical knowledge.
Makerere University is the oldest university in Uganda and East Africa at large, and it's largely a public university. Story by Lubega Ibrahim for CTV, PM Edition.
Prime Minister Robin Nabanja has expressed concern over the suspicious breakdown of the major diagnostic machines at Mulago Hospital, which leaves patients stranded. She says many of them end up being referred to unaffordable private hospitals. Nabanja was inspecting the Mulago National Referral Hospital Wellness Clinic that started free screening services at the beginning of this month.
Celebrations to mark 60 years of Uganda's independence, Mulago Hospital started a wellness clinic to offer free disease screening and counseling services. The free service that started on October 4th ends tomorrow. The objective of the clinic is to promote health lifestyles by offering guidance, counseling, and disease screening and diagnosis. According to Nabanja, there is no need for the public to believe that the expensive private clinics and hospitals offer the best care compared to Mulago National Referral Hospital, which has dozens of experts and consultants.
Encourage the general public to take advantage of the opportunity to visit and experience the care and support offered here at Mulago Hospital.
Nabanja, however, expressed concern over the poor handling of diagnostic equipment at the Mulago Hospital. She says the problem makes stranded clients to be referred to unaffordable private clinics.
Amalwaliro gana amalala n'ebyobwannannyini bo bamakanika babajjawa. Ekyaffe ekifa kafyuzi ak'emitwalo 3 tebakazzaamu. Maama nga tukwesiga. Abalwadde abamu tebalina kapasite egenda kuwa ssente ziri ez'obuwanana. Tebalina gye balaga. Nze wano naleetawo maama wange omuto yafiira wano. Naye nga tukeera ne tugenda kwa MRI Nakasero ng'eyaffe weeri wano ng'ebulwamu yali ebulwako masannyalaze ne tuleeta abantu ne tugakola ne kikolayo ennaku. Naye ate kati baŋŋambe kyaddamu okufa. Banaye mukwatibweko ku nsonyi. Abantu baffe abamu tebalina ssente. Nga tebalina ssente zigenda Nakasero.
Dr. Edward Kanyesije, the chairman of Mulago Hospital Board, says the renovations should be resumed as soon as possible.
The Prime Minister, help us when you go back so that Rocco can come and complete this hospital. If you are standing here, you would see a very pale building. This hospital needs to be beautified so that it can do the work.
I'll talk to the Minister of Finance. I have some little powers which the President gave me. And I will use those powers to make sure that...
Shamim Natebo Wetendo, CTV, PM Edition.
Still in the health sector, the Ministry of Health has introduced 4 vaccines in the immunization schedule, bringing the total number of immunizable diseases in Uganda to 13. Yellow fever is among the new vaccines that will be administered to infants at 9 weeks, as well as the hepatitis B vaccine that will be administered between birth and 7 days.
As the Ministry of Health prepares for the Integrated Child Health Days in October, new vaccines have been added to the infant's vaccination schedule at health centers. The schedule will see children be administered with yellow fever vaccine for the first time, while 2 doses of polio HPV-1 and HPV-2 have been introduced. A second dose for measles has also been introduced.
Now, these are diseases some of which are not seen here. The reason is the children are protected. Over 95% of our children are protected against these diseases to an extent that we no longer see them. But when we stop, they will recur. These are diseases which are disturbing people in Europe, in America, because the coverages are beginning to falter.
Figures from the Ministry of Health indicate that 2% of the children are not vaccinated at all, while 15% do not finish their second doses, which puts their lives at risk.
If you don't complete, it means you are partially vaccinated. Your protection is not complete. So it means you are still susceptible to that disease. Susceptibility means that you may get the infection and you'll take time to fight it, and you'll waste more time and different outcomes. Outcome can be death, outcome can be disability, outcome can be prolonged hospitalization. Those are things which you should not have gone through.
These vaccines are among the many that will be administered in a nationwide campaign that will kick off early next month. The door-to-door exercise will run for between 3 to 7 days, depending on the nature of a given area or district. Ministry of Health officials are hopeful that parents will respond.
The understanding of risk of these vaccine-preventable diseases by the public and the realization that vaccines will change the situation as a solution is what will make a family to decide and bring their children to the vaccination. Now, this arm of the program is the one leading to the high dropout rates.
Vaccination targets children from the birth to 14 years, depending on the nature of the vaccine, as well as pregnant mothers. Ramson Mihure, CTV PM Edition.
Thank you, Ramson, for that report. Now, local government leaders have been cautioned against using backdoor methods while recruiting civil servants at district and lower local government levels. The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Planning, Ramadan Gobi, says proper procedures have to be followed to ensure that the right people are recruited.
Every year, government retires civil servants and at the same time recruits new ones to replace them. However, some local government leaders and civil servants abuse their recruitment and recruit staff through the back door. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Ramadan Gobi, says the practice is illegal and the Ministry of Public Service must be informed about all recruitment drives.
No public servant should be recruited without clearance or approval by the Minister of Public Service. And usually the Minister of Public Service consults the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the availability of wage and pension and the other requirements, so that we avoid that disease of what we call wage shortfalls.
Speaking to local government leaders on the challenges they face while carrying out their work in Kampala, Kobe warned them to avoid creating ghost workers on the payroll.
Wagamba olukalala lw'abakozi ba gavumenti si lulambulukufu bulungi, so twagala obwerufu obwo buveeyo bulungi, era nga gavumenti tugenda kukola okunoonyereza, abazungu bakiyita auditing, bagende bakebere olukalala lwa gavumenti, abakozi ki abaliko era basasulwa batya.
Kobe says there was a delay in the release of payments and funds to districts and other units because the ministry was digitizing its payment system, adding that the process has been completed and the money is available for disbursement. Several municipality mayors and district leaders decried the inadequate funding from the central government, saying the problem should be solved.
As local governments, we have a mandate to maintain and repair roads. But Mityana Municipal Council, just like other municipalities, we are not facilitated in terms of road equipment. So up to now, government has not procured any road equipment to support our governments so that we can fulfill our mandate to repair the roads.
Their critical role in monitoring the parish development model remains critical and a challenge, because we want to see the wananchi touching the money. But as they touch the money, we also want to ensure that the political leaders in the respective local government, the higher and local government, lower local governments, are really brought on board. They fully understand.
That story takes us in for a short break. Plenty more when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching a PM edition. Kampala Capital City Authority, together with Colas, a road construction company from the United Kingdom, have signed a £250 million agreement to revamp 270 kilometers of roads in Kampala City. The road network in Kampala City has undergone improvement, but the effort has been a drop in a bucket.
Kampala's road network has seen substantial improvement over the years. However, shoddy work and lack of maintenance and poor drainage. The road network develops potholes and ditches. The challenge is likely to lessen in a few months to come after Kampala Capital City Authority, in conjunction with Colas, a road construction company based in the United Kingdom, signed an agreement to revamp 270 kilometers of the road network in the city.
To develop the proposal for the Kampala Roads and Bridges project. Colas is a British company that we've been in conversations with over this project for the last few years, and we are glad that now our government of Uganda The Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of the Attorney General's Office have given us a green light to go ahead and sign a memorandum of understanding that will enable KCCA and COLAS to begin to develop the proposal.
According to KCCA's Executive Director, Dorothy Chisaka, the focus will be on the roads in Kololo, Ugolovi, Nakasero, and other upscale areas. The program begins immediately. £250 million will be spent on the project.
To the President of Uganda, the government of Uganda, for enabling us to start a new project that will revamp our road network in Kampala. As you know, in Kampala we have over 2,100 kilometers of road, and only 30% of that is now tarmacked.
We expect to design and revamp as we look towards revamping 270 kilometers, but we also have some high quality bridges that are going to help us link some parts of the city.
The British High Commissioner to Uganda says the project is a great achievement.
Like myself and like ourselves into this country that create Ugandan jobs, that add Ugandan value, that deliver Ugandan sort of financial growth for Uganda, which is what we are all about as the UK. The more prosperous Uganda is, the better for all of us. And that's really our reason. I'm really delighted that we've been able to sign this MOU. I think it's a really important milestone on what is going to be a really transformative project. You know, Kampala is the beating heart of Uganda. It's a part, you know, I'm extremely fond of this city, and you can get a sense when you walk around the city just of the potential that we have here.
Kampala City has over 2,000 kilometers of road network, but KCC has only tarmacked only 30% of the network, leaving 70% in a sorry state. Story by Chris Semalim Semakula for CTV PM Edition.
Relatedly, Kampala Capital City Authority has partnered with the city of Strasbourg in France to promote urban agriculture, education and the creation of green spaces in Kampala City. The partnership deal has been in the pipeline for the last 4 years. We have more.
During the launch of the partnership at Chitante Primary School, KCCA Executive Director Dorothy Chisaka says Kampala City is honored to be considered for such a relationship because it will help them deliver better services to city dwellers and visitors.
Our ambition as KCCA is to build a smart city. We want to leverage the use of technology in service delivery. We want to improve our infrastructure and our people's well-being so that we create more opportunities for work and so that people can trade, our commerce is better, and the general well-being of the city goes up.
The partnership has lasted for 4 years, and the focus will be on several sectors to make Kampala more attractive and vibrant, as well as sustainable world-class city.
Urban agriculture as a key place to interact on, green spaces management, and education improvement, which offer opportunity for mutual learning. The planned interventions in these areas will complement our efforts in the other sectors, all toward achieving our goal of improved service delivery and the overarching mission to be a vibrant, attractive, and a sustainable city.
Under the partnership, tree planting will be emphasized to improve on the green and fight climate change.
So we are pushing also to have the Forest Act amended. I'm sure you have already been briefed about that. It was made way back during the colonial days in the 1940s. It's only the National Tree Planting Act which is up to date, but we also want to have the same implemented. But as we do that, there are some soft measures that we need to undertake, and that's where the intervention of this twinning arrangement come in handy.
Lukwago, however, says funding of various programs is hindering various projects in Kampala City.
And yes, we are getting some grants from the central government, but they are far below the targets and our projections. Hence the need to have more interventions made.
Street lighting in Kampala will also be improved under the partnership. Poor lighting in the city does not only make Kampala shabby, but also enables criminals to thrive. Martha Amanya, CTV, PM Edition.
In news from the region, Kenya's President William Ruto is in Ethiopia on his first tour of the region since taking office. President Ruto is also set to travel to Uganda and Tanzania as Ibrahim Traore is appointed President of Burkina Faso. The agenda for Ruto's regional tour includes talks on business and political ties, according to a dispatch from State House. On his arrival in Addis Ababa, he met Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and is also scheduled to attend the national launch of Safaricom Ethiopia. Safaricom Ethiopia is the subsidiary of Kenya's largest mobile telco and which will be the first foreign investment in Ethiopia's telecommunications scene. Safaricom Ethiopia says it has successfully rolled out its network across different parts of the country. The government of Kenya has a 35% stake in Safaricom. The Ethiopian subsidiary, known as the Global Partnership for Ethiopia, is a joint venture involving Safaricom, Vodacom Group, Vodafone Group, Sumitomo Corporation, and the British International Investment. Safaricom owns 55.7% of the company. From Addis Ababa, Ruto will travel to Uganda for the Sunday celebrations of 60 years of independence before heading to Tanzania to meet President Samia Suluhu. The trip comes days after an online tiff between Kenya and Uganda that was triggered by a tweet made by General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, President Yoweri Museveni's son, claiming his army could capture Nairobi in no more than 2 weeks. In Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore has been appointed President of Burkina Faso. The appointment comes less than a week after the latest coup in the West African country, the second in less than 9 months. The president of the Patriotic Movement for Safeguarding and Restoration will serve as head of state and supreme commander of the National Armed Forces. He is the guarantor of the independence of the judiciary. If the president is unable to act, his powers are exercised by the first vice president and, if necessary, by the second vice president. Burkina Faso plunged into turmoil last weekend when Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba, who had seized power in January, was toppled by newly emerged rival Ibrahim Traore, who headed a faction of disgruntled junior officers. Earlier this week, delegates from the Economic Community of West African States visited the country on a fact-finding mission and held meetings with religious and traditional leaders as well as the new military ruler. In stories making headlines across the globe, more than 40 leaders from all over Europe are in Prague to attend the inaugural meeting of the European Political Community, as an ex-policeman has killed at least 38 people, most of them children, in a gun and knife attack at a childcare center in northeast Thailand. Here is more. Leaders of more than 40 European countries are in talks in Prague at a historic first meeting of a new political forum of nations. UK Prime Minister Liz Truss joined leaders from the EU, Turkey, Norway and the Balkans as Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky spoke via video link. Germany Chancellor Olaf Scholz says the gathering was a great innovation. The summit, built as a European political community beyond the EU, has been championed by Emmanuel Macron, who told reporters that it sent a message of unity. But there is skepticism, even within the EU, about the new forum. The leaders are discussing energy, migration and security, with a particular focus on the war in Ukraine. As well as the UK, non-EU members Switzerland, Turkey, Norway, Iceland, Georgia, Azerbaijan and Western Balkan countries are among those taking part in the first gathering of the EPC. Germany's calls pointed out that all the countries attending the summit knew that Russia's war was a brutal violation of the security and peace order that we have had in Europe in recent decades. An ex-policeman has killed at least 38 people, most of them children, in a gun and knife attack at a childcare center in northeast Thailand. Police say the suspect killed himself and his family after a manhunt following the attack in Nong Bua, Lampu province. Children and adults are among the casualties at the nursery. Police say the attacker shot and stabbed his victims before fleeing the scene. The former officer, aged 34, was sacked in June for drug use, according to police. At least 22 children were among the dead in the mass killing in the town of Uthai Sawan. Some victims, aged as young as 2, were attacked as they slept. A dozen people who were injured have been taken to Nong Bua Lampu District Hospital. Edition takes another short break. Don't go away. Sport is up next. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. In sports tonight, Uganda's under-17 national team, the Uganda Cubs, maintained their perfect start to book a semi-final berth at the Sekafa Zonal AFCON qualifiers. Uganda defeated South Sudan 4-0 in their second group game at the Abebe Stadium in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
From our country, and also people who are in Ethiopia are supporting us. We are feeling very great to see that we are entering the semi-finals today. We don't know whom we are going to play, but we are still waiting to see the game which is going to play after. Because the tournament has a few countries and a few matches to play. So we have to balance the score. If we lose on the semi-finals, that everything we have done is not good. So that we have to put in our power and then we see how another can play also. That's why we changed it. Uganda will be another different, and to see how it's also playing.
We have come to the end of PM Edition. Thank you so much for your company. PM Edition returns tomorrow, same time. To get more on these and other stories, you can head on to our website at ctv.co.uk. UG. You can also reach us on all our social media platforms at CTV Uganda. From me, Bernadette Apio and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language, good night.